You make time for the things that are most important to you, right? That's the answer most people give if you tell them you don't have time to work out. That answer doesn't really take into account people that actually have extremely busy schedules or are just exhausted from everyday life. My name is Devin Ricker. I'm a personal trainer and strength coach with a master's in exercise physiology. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 super efficient methods for working out on a tight schedule. And make sure to stick around to the end for a bonus tip on how to bring it all together. Let's jump in. The foundation of most issues with efficiency in our workouts is our lack of vision. If you don't have a target, you can't know where to aim. To have an efficient training plan that can be done consistently and saves you time, you've got to know exactly where you're going. Like, for instance, what are your weak points? Do you want to add muscles in certain areas, or do you want to lose body fat? A good example of this for me is during the pandemic. I didn't want to add any excess body fat, and I didn't want to lose any strength, so basically my goal was to maintain. And because of that, it changed the way that I did my training plan. And because gyms were closed, that changed the way that I performed my training. So what is it for you in this moment? Do you want to lose weight, gain muscle, maintain? Do you want to prevent injury? Do you just want to work out for overall health, or something specific like do you want to get abs or grow your glutes? That's why method number 1 is to set clear goals. Okay, great, so you know what you're aiming for in training, but just because you have an aim doesn't mean you know what to do with it, especially if you want to be efficient with your time. There is a lot of information out there on how to work out properly: HIIT training, running, high volume, and much more. This can cause confusion and lead to a wandering in the desert situation that holds you back from achieving your goals. Back in the day when I first started training, I would work out for something like 2 to 3 hours a day. Now, to be honest, part of that is just because I fell in love with it, but another part is because I just didn't know how to be efficient with my time. And I probably could have taken that 2 to 3 hours and cut it down to 1 hour if I were just more efficient with my training. So when you're considering your training, you'll need to take these specific factors into account. What are the obstacles that are keeping you from working out in the first place? And are they flexible? Can you change them? Is it the time of day that you're trying to work out? Another thing you could do is create a list of exactly how much time you have. How many minutes or hours per day do you have? How many days per week can you train? Only have 30 minutes for 2 to 3 days a week? Totally fine, we can make that work. The important thing is that you have an outline of your availability. And with that outline, you're gonna place this time into your calendar. You're essentially scheduling a meeting with yourself so that you don't miss that each week. And that's why the second method is to create the most effective routine structure for you and your schedule. And hey, if you're enjoying this video, feel free to like, subscribe, and let me know what other fitness questions you have in the comments below, and I'll try to get to every single one of them within the next week or so. Alright, so on to method number 3. With that routine structure, you have the outline to achieving your goals. But what do you actually do to fill in that outline? What exercises do you need to perform to achieve your specific goals in an efficient way? Honestly, there are exercises that are just a complete waste of time. They aren't effective and they take way too long to perform. The efficiency just isn't there. Yet there are others that essentially work most of your body in just one movement. A good example of this would be like switching from dumbbell tricep kickbacks to a close grip bench. With the dumbbell tricep kickbacks, you're simply just hitting your triceps, and honestly, it's not even that effective of a movement. With a close grip bench press, you're not only hitting your triceps, and it is an effective movement, but you're also hitting your shoulders and your chest, so you're hitting 3 muscles in one. That's way more efficient. What you need to do is take your goals and choose exercises that will help you achieve them in the most efficient manner possible. In terms of weight training, start with, and maybe only if you want to be really efficient, compound movements. What that means is that you're working big movements, like think of something like a bench press, a squat, a deadlift, any movement where you're working across multiple joints. Like our example earlier, the close grip bench press, that works across the elbow and the shoulder joint, whereas the dumbbell tricep kickback only works across one single joint, the elbow joint. So any movement that's gonna work across multiple joints is typically gonna be a little bit better for you than isolated exercises. But isolated exercises also have their place, and that usually comes whenever you have specific goals. Like if you want to grow your biceps, you should be doing isolated bicep movements like curls. Isolated movements are for specifically targeting certain muscle groups. So if you're going to add those into your routine, add them after the compound movements. Now, in terms of cardio, you can either track your movement over the course of the day, think of something like counting your steps, or you can hit it hard for a short duration of time. ACSM, or the American College of Sports Medicine, recommends moderate aerobic activity for a minimum of 30 minutes 5 times a week. That's a lot, and that's very time consuming. But if you're not able to do this, they also recommend that you could do vigorous activity for 20 minutes 3 times per week. So it's literally only an hour of cardio and you're getting very similar benefits. And to me, that's much more efficient and a lot better if you're on a tight schedule. Which is why method number 3 is to choose the most effective exercises for your routine. Now for method 4, you've got your goals, you've got the outline of your training, and even the exercises. But that isn't enough to save yourself time. You have to know the correct order and structure of each day. You'll have to know the correct order and structure of that program with those exercises. And luckily, there are science-based ways that we can implement these exercises into a compact amount of time. Remember that example from earlier? And what I would do is basically perform an exercise and then rest for about 1 to 4 minutes and then repeat. I would do that for 3 sets of 10 reps for around 8 to 10 exercises, not to mention my cardio. And basically because of this, I found myself living at the gym most days. There's a way I could have been way more efficient with my training, and so can you. In terms of strength training, there are specific methods that you can implement to cut your routines from 1 hour all the way down to 30 minutes. You're cutting your routine in half. For this, it's important to know which exercises are targeting which muscle groups, because it's possible to attempt this method and exhaust yourself within just a few minutes before you've even got an actual workout in. So if you know that machine curls works your biceps, then you probably don't want to complement those with dumbbell curls. It would be way more beneficial to complement them with something like tricep pushdowns, to work the opposite part of the arm. By working antagonistic muscles like this, you'll be able to work through your rest periods and essentially cut your total workout time in half. That's why method number 4 is to superset your exercises. Now you've got the base knowledge of how to structure your routine in an efficient way, but that means nothing if you don't have this last method. To create a great training program that can help you reach your goals in the most efficient manner possible, you have to test what you are doing. In fact, that goes with a lot of things in life. Test, adjust, and repeat. But what does testing actually look like? Well, in terms of training, that means that you are writing down everything you're doing, from the exercises to the sets to the reps to the speed of your treadmill or how long you even walked or ran. That way you'll know what is working and what you'll need to adjust based on your specific goals. Therefore, method number 5 is to be persistent with your tracking. And you can do this very simply through Google Sheets, training apps, or just simply by handwriting it. But there's one more thing, and this is a bonus tip. You have your goals, a structured routine with the correct exercises, and you're keeping track of it all. You can do every one of these methods correctly, but that means nothing without this final bonus tip. 1 week of training won't make a difference in your life. 1 month of training, and you'll start to see some minor improvements. But 1 year plus, that's where the magic happens. Just think about how quick a year actually goes by. Honestly, it seems like 2020 was just yesterday, but that was 4 years ago. Think about how fast that has flown by. But imagine where you would be if you had implemented these methods for the past 4 years. That's why my bonus tip isn't sexy, but it is the most important one. And that is consistency with your training over a long period of time.